for most people, even the most confident and most motivated of us, when you get good feedback, it actually motivates you to do more. So most people who get frustrated and say, oh, they hate their jobs, it's likely because they're not getting very constructive feedback and somebody's putting them down, and that can really be very discouraging. So welcome back. Now, how then do you manage, somebody who actually just doesn't know, especially when they're under pressure, how to give constructive feedback, without putting you down or making you feel, less than yourself or demean you? It is for you to be able to separate constructive feedback from demeaning ones or destructive feedback. So once you're able to separate what is constructive and what is destructive, then you wouldn't have any issue at all. You know that, oh, well, that is not me. That is clearly not me. I take the constructive part of the feedback, but I definitely will not and should pay no attention to this part of the feedback because that isn't me. And you get the work done, and make sure you're very careful, get somebody else to look at it before sending it back to them, so that they can, see that indeed, that you put in just the absolute best into the work. So if you need to get help, but make sure that when you get destructive feedback or criticism, then don't take it to heart. Make sure you just sieve the demeaning part of it out of it and take the feedback that's constructive. That's how you actually stay safe. And again, the way to disarm a colleague that is likely to be that way under pressure is to start to do the work on time. And it's funny because when you know that, you're doing work for this person, and when they are under immense pressure, they are going to be irritated if you do nonsense. So once they give you work, you want to do it, you want to start it on time before the client start chasing, so that they're calmer and they can tell you, oh, let's do that, and then the work can go out on time. Don't wait until it is, one day to the deadline and they haven't seen anything, and then you now send them something they cannot work with. Then whatever you get is probably what you deserve. So you want to make sure or avoid that type of situation, right? And I am not going to pretend like the work is not always fast-paced and everything is not always urgent and due that same day, right? And if that is the case, before you start writing at all, instead of trying to prove to the person that you are smart, you can actually tell them, oh, when you did this preliminary research, this was what you found. That do they agree? And then they can tell you, oh yes, they agree with you, although they don't agree, let's look at this. So that when you now start putting pen to paper and you send it to them, you already took some advice. So they are not expecting to see something that is off, and you're likely to work more efficiently that way. Do you see? So when you're not able to predict, how they're going to take the argument, you should, give them a call right from when you do the research and say, oh, you did this and you found this, and what's what you're thinking? What do they think? And they can tell you, oh, okay, let's do it. And then, so they already have in mind and they can think about it, and they know that you engage them while you started off the journey rather than you going off on a tangent of your own. So that's also very useful. It's definitely very useful. Now, late nights, sometimes you really just have to know that you may have to do late nights. And really, guys, and once you know that sometimes you have to do late nights, you just really set your mind, and then when you then go, so say you say that, today I'm going to close by 11 p.m. or 12 or 1, and then you end up closing earlier. the better for you. You're like, oh wow, I didn't even know I'm going to finish on time. So just always tell yourself that, oh, like you're not going to finish this work until XYZ time. So once you condition your mind to think that way, when you end up finishing earlier, it ends up not being so bad. So really, it's really about perspective and just finding ways to lie to ourselves so that we can manage the stress better. There are so many sources of anxiety in a fast-paced environment. For some people, it's outlook. I remember during the pandemic, my first year was during a pandemic, and I had to show up. I was in fact overcompensating that, oh my God, like, if they didn't retain all of us, it would be justified because revenue is down and everything. So I was really, and then I attended that training that they said, when you don't respond to an email in 5 minutes, that's too late. So that all those kind of things can actually give you anxiety, right? And then so once I hear the Outlook in notification, it actually just gets me very anxious. So before Outlook will end me, I ended it. So I had to put off the notification for Outlook. But guess what? Because I am always conscious to check my email, so it's like reflex. Because even though the notification isn't on, it will pop up. I activated preview, so I'll see it. But the sound isn't sudden, so it doesn't get me anxious. So I am quick to respond, and I have my Outlook on my phone. And some people also don't like that. It could get them anxious, whatever works for you. So though the Outlook is on my phone, but the notification is off, so it still works. And I'm able to see it and get on my laptop and do whatever I have to do. So if notifications give you anxiety in any way, then put the light out of it. Then the next thing is actually one of the most important. I think it actually strings through all of the tips that I've given so far. Remember that I said, when you're working with a senior that gets really, that gets irritated when they're under pressure, try and engage them on time. And that's also the case when you're unsure. A client has sent an email that you know the answer to, but you're not sure whether to send the email or to check with the senior. Whenever you're unsure, please just go and ask questions. It's better to go and ask questions than to be sorry. Because the one thing that I hate to do in my life is recall an email. Please. It makes me look very bad, very sloppy. I can bite the pillow. I almost want to cry. Now, why am I recalling an email? So I make sure that I am sure, like we set it to you, that this is a correct thing and it's going out, right? So whenever once the email comes in, I am about to give a response to the client, I pick up the phone, even though I don't send a draft email to the senior. Pick up the phone that, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, let's say this, let's say that. Say, great, I put it in my words, it goes out. Right? And there's so many occasions that I have had to do that. And I was this close to sending rubbish to the client. And just by asking questions that, this is what I'm thinking. I'm like, no, let's not say that. Let's say that we're going to charge XYZ. And then I send, I'm like, wow, thank God. So whenever you're unsure, even over the least thing or the slightest thing, please ask questions. Better to be, to ask too many questions than to be sorry. So that always works. So that's something that you should definitely do. Gets you out of a lot of trouble. Now, this one is the final tip. So you should definitely listen up, guys. This is an absolute lifesaver. You can, especially when you do a lot of drafting and use a lot of template. So in any organization at all, and for litigation guys, you already know this, that a lot of your processes you draft using old templates. So please always use Control Find before you send the work out to the senior or to the client. So if you're using an old template, please Control Find keywords from the old template. You will be surprised. Sometimes you feel like, read this thing to the T. But when you control find and then you see that, oh my God, I didn't change this. And then, so even in, not even in agreement, sometimes it's in very little things like engagement letters, where you already use the name of the old client. Just control find the name of the old client. If you already changed the defined word from transaction to assignment, just control find transaction to see that you've changed transaction in all relevant places to assignment. If it's a share charge or whatever it is you're drafting, and then in the old transaction you use security trustee, and now you're using security agent, control find security trustee throughout the document. It can save you life. It can, in fact, this is the greatest invention on Microsoft Word, right? Because it just saves you a lot of embarrassment. And whenever you're tired and the work has to go out, please send the draft to somebody on your team, usually another a co-first year or NYSC or your buddy, to just please help you have a look or glance through, because your eyes are tired, just to spot any errors. And sometimes when you've worked on the document, especially on opinion, for so long, you may not see those tiny errors that are lurking in the corners. So get somebody to look at it. And my dear, if you follow these tips to the T, I cannot guarantee you that you will not be stressed at all, but it will help you to effectively manage the work pressure in your first year. So I hope you guys really learned something and engaged or find this very useful. So please share with your friends, with your foes, like I like to say, and please tell your people to subscribe to my channel. At the time of recording this YouTube video, I have exactly 997 subscribers. What are you doing? Let's get to 1K already, please. Ejo, Undo. Like, if you just go and subscribe, tell your people to tell their people, and their people to tell their people, to tell everybody, subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to, so please let me know those things that you want me to talk about in the comment, and let me know if you found this very, very useful in the comment as well. And then see you in the next video. Ciao, bye-bye. You already know the vibes.